Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I sit down with men's basketball player Marcus Stubbs. Today, Stubbs and I talk about why he came back to Marymount for a fifth year, the leadership role that he plays on the men's basketball team, and his favorite Marymount memory being on the men's basketball program. With that, let's chat with Stubbs. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I'm joined by men's basketball player Marcus Stubbs. Marcus, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good, and I am excited to chat with you today. You are a 5-year player here at Marymount. You've done a lot here with the basketball program, and I'm excited to chat with you today, talk a little bit about your basketball history and then what your final year looks like. So let's address the elephant in the room. You are here for your 5th year. What kind of brought you back? What brought you back to Marymount one more year?
I just really wanted to win another NCAA tournament game, or at least win one. I mean, we got bounced first 2 years. First year, we got blasted by 20 points. Second year, much more competitive. We just didn't have some things go our way. And then this year, I mean, we have a very good-looking team. And I just really think we could do something.
And what do you think is like some of the key points to winning that game? Obviously, you're coming off of a high after winning the Atlantic East Conference Championship. You're coming off that high and you're going into a really competitive game. You kind of know your season's on the line in a sense. What is the way that, the best way for you guys to go into that game, mindset wise? Because you don't want to think too much, but there's a lot on the line.
There absolutely is a lot on the line. And the one thing that I learned from playing these tournament games is not about who runs the plays the best or can do the most exotic things, but who's just going to play harder and stay together as a team. So unfortunately, that just didn't happen for us. We got a little bit outplayed and we just weren't as together as we could have been. But I mean, things happen like that and it's just a part of growing and learning.
Well, hey, it's a new year and you guys got a shot this year.
Definitely.
So you start on Tuesday and you got less than a week and you start your final season here at Marymount. What does that feel like? This is your last year playing college basketball and you've been here, you've had quite the career, which we'll touch on later. What are the emotions you're kind of feeling? I mean, probably a little bit, not as much as you will feel, in February when you're like nearing the end, but kind of like, how are you feeling like going into that last part of your career?
I mean, I'm just really trying to go into there with no expectations. It's my last year, like you said. So I'm just trying to just take it all in and just experience it for what it is. My last year of college basketball, it makes no sense to overthink it. So just kind of do what I've been doing for these last 4 years and just try to be a better leader now for the younger guys because I am on my way out. So
you bring me into my next question there. You are a leader on this team. We talk about you've been here a couple of years. You kind of know your way. You know what it feels like to be, not have your best game, have your best game, have a couple of hard games in a row, have some really good games in a row. What kind of like leader do you want your teammates to see you as? Because they see you as a leader, you've been the ropes and you've experienced a lot of what these younger guys are going to experience, coming through the years. What does that mean being a leader, for these guys? Because there's quite a few of you on the team and everybody knows Stubbs, everybody rocks with them. But what kind of leader and like, what does that mean, to you?
I mean, being a good leader is just about doing what you say and just setting a good example as often as you can. You're going to make mistakes and you're not always going to make the best decisions. But I mean, as long as you've built a good connection with these guys and just kind of shown them what it means to be consistent in work ethic, discipline, and just overall everything it is that we do outside of the sport, that's all I can really do. I just try my best to be consistent for these guys and give them some grace. I mean, a lot of people forget what it's like to be young and not understand and make mistakes. So just really trying to give them some grace, really coach them up.
So let's say, you have a practice, you have a game that's like maybe not your best and somebody comes up to you and they're kind of like, I'm feeling down, they probably wouldn't exactly say that verbatim, but what do you say to a player, one of your friends, your teammates that's like, I just need some help. I just need some mental help. Like I'm not feeling it. You've been there before, you obviously know what it's like to kind of feel down in that sense. And you don't want to stay in that. What's your approach to that teammate coming to you for help as a leader?
One, I try to remind them that it's just basketball. This is a game that we get to play for 4 to 5 years. And yeah, it's frustrating to have a bad game, but at the end of the day, everybody in the locker room, the coaches, we all know what you're capable of. So, I mean, it's okay to be frustrated, but you can't let your emotions kind of take control of how you go about the rest of the day or how you view yourself. Because, I mean, thoughts are powerful. And if you keep just negatively reinforcing these bad kind of things that you're thinking, then yeah, it's going to take away from you. So just let it happen. It happens. You can't have a great day every day. You just kind of move on, go from there, and just keep practicing.
So we're going to touch on some great days, though, in the Marcus Stubbs career. So in your career here at Marymount, you've been probably, I don't even know how many all-conference awards you have at this rate, and you were fortunate enough to do something really special here at home. You had your 1,000 points last year here at home. Congratulations. Way delayed. Well, I probably told you closer to the time. But anyway, you reached 1,000 points here at Marymount. Kind of run me through that day because, you kind of know on the back of you. Did you know that you were like close?
I did actually. I got reminded of it. And I'm not going to lie, I started that game and I was pressed and I missed like 3-4 shots in a row because I was just chucking.
Right.
But then, once I got it, things kind of loosened up and then we started to play a little better. But I don't remember the day, but I remember starting the game and trying not to think about it, but obviously thinking about it. Because
Who told you before? Was it Coach Rogers?
No, I think it might have been Montel Cooper. But I can't, I'm like trying to not focus on that, but I couldn't help it.
Well, how do you not?
Yeah, it was difficult, but it happened and it was good. And then we won, so that was even better.
Right. So obviously you have, this really big achievement that a lot of players dream of having in their college career. But that's not the end of your season. You did that regular season. You still have games to play. You still have, tournament, AEC tournament, and you're going into the NCAA, which at the time you didn't know, but looking back on it, you do now. Kind of tell me about what an achievement like that, how does that carry your momentum into the rest of your season, into playoffs, and, into the NCAA tournament?
Starting the season off knowing that you're close is definitely a good feeling, but at the same time, it can be a little distracting. So once I hit that mark, I didn't really feel the need to just have any unnecessary goals anymore. 1,000 points it's nice to do, but once it's over, it's like, okay, sigh of relief, and now I'm just going to focus up on whatever's next because I have 1 year left, and there's no way I'm scoring 1,000 points in there. So,
hey, never say never.
but yeah.
Check back here. Maybe Marcus gets 1,000 points this year.
Maybe. But yeah.
So talking about the Atlantic East Conference Championship last year and even the year before, kind of run me through those emotions, because obviously that's every college athlete's dream. You come into, college, you're recruited and, your coach is like, we're going to win a conference championship with you on the team. And some of us are fortunate enough to have that experience. Let's talk last year because that's probably the most, fresh memory in your brain. Talk me a little bit about, last year you guys were here at home. You were able to do it back to back. You guys had some really strong guys on the team. Tell me a little bit about that day as much as you can remember.
I'm not going to lie to you. It felt like another day in the office. We did it before. The first time we did it was the first time we did it. And it was exciting because we lost the year before. Mm-hmm. So we know what it's like to lose and then come back to win is great. But then repeating it was obviously a great feeling. But at the same time, it was like we got a tournament game we got to get ready for now. We don't know where we're about to go. So it was a very, I don't really know how to put it into words. The emotions were very fleeting because we've done it before. So
in 2021, you guys were playing the Atlantic East Conference Championship. You were here playing at Newman and in a highly competitive match. It was a great game, but you guys unfortunately did not take that one. But fast forward a year to 2022, the exact same thing is happening again. You're here at Marymount playing at Converse Family Fieldhouse against Newman, but this time you took home the trophy. What was like that difference maker? What was that change, that really sparked the difference, in those two games?
So I would say the difference from the first game to the second time we played them in the championship definitely was our defensive focus. We focused on the focal point of Newman's offense, which was Jalen Vaughn. Good player. Very good player. Won Conference Player of the Year, I think, 2 or 3 times in a row. The dude is good. But we had some guys who were really focused on just making sure we tried to limit what he was good at. And then Rayshawn Cook was a great addition, grad student, hit some really big shots for us during that game, and ultimately, I think that was one of the biggest things that helped.
I remember, fun fact, Marius, I don't think you know this, but not last year, the year before, I did a post-game interview with you, and I think it was Rashawn. I think it's the other one that was, yes, but that was my first post-game interview I ever did, and you guys were my first too.
You're welcome. Nah.
Well, thank you. But I remember, obviously I remember that really well. It was my first one, but I remember like talking to you and I just remember like tearing up a little bit, like, chatting with you because I remember like looking around, you guys had your shirts on and like there's confetti everywhere. You guys are like, really living in the moment and you kind of like looking around, you're like, it hasn't really hit me yet. Either you're like, it'll hit me when I get down to the locker room. Tell me a little bit about what it's like. Okay, you're up on the court with your family, friends, and all that, but then you get down in the locker room and you're with your teammates and you're with the guys that, you just did something great with. Tell me a little bit about, what that's like down there.
So it was great because, that whole season we played with pretty much 9 people and everybody being hurt. I had never been through a season with actual adversity like that before. Mm-hmm. And to win with everything that had happened felt fantastic. You go downstairs, people are squirting water bottles on you. People are throwing clothes. It's great. Everybody's just super excited. So, it did hit me once we went downstairs just because that's when everybody's actual emotions came out.
Right.
So
when you win the Atlantic East Conference Championship, you cut down the net. So you have a piece of the net, you have your championship ring. Where are those? Like, do you have them like where you can see them? You just told me your ring was at home, but do you have those where you can see them or do you just kind of have them in a safe spot, for you to have, forever and ever?
Just have it in a little safe spot I can have. I don't think it was good to have, but I don't think that's something that I should focus my life around. I definitely don't think I should just display it. It's definitely nice, collector's item, put on a necklace or something, but they're somewhere.
Collector's item. One day when Marcus Stubbs is famous, I'll be throwing money trying to get that little piece of the Marymount basketball net.
Maybe. Yeah. Not famous though, just have some money.
That's an experience that you never forget, in that moment. And, when the last shot, is made or when the buzzer goes off and you guys are like, man, we did that. Like, it's a feeling you just never forget.
It is, absolutely.
So you are in your last year here at Marymount. What does that feel like?
It just feels like another year. I can't come back after this. So.
Well, guys.
Yeah, that's it.
So obviously, there's goals in mind. You said at the beginning here when we started chatting, end goal here is to win an NCAA tournament game. How do we achieve that? Obviously, you win games and you play well, but how do you really, mentally and, physically, how do you achieve, a game like that? Because that's a really high energy game. There's a lot going on and you guys have a very long season to that point. How do you win that game?
Honestly, just staying together as a team. Playing basketball is great. We know we're going to win games. We know we're going to lose some. That's just the nature of the sport. But what's most important is that we stay together off the court. A lot of the chemistry and a lot of the reasons teams win a lot of games, especially tournament games, is because as a group, they're close, they're well connected, and they stay together. You just got to be able to lean on your teammates.
And so, again, I'm going to backtrack to a little bit of what I said before. You guys have a very long season. You guys will start on Tuesday, and you go to mid-February, end of February. I feel you. Trust me, I feel you. How do you navigate that? Because you practice, 6-7 days a week, if that. You guys have games, you have late nights, you're traveling, you're coming back here and you're grinding out weight room and in the gym. How do you stay together? What's your key to success in that sense?
This is where the discipline and the leadership and the consistency has to come in, because it's easy for teams to be motivated for that first month, but motivation goes away very, very quickly. And that's where you have to start relying on your discipline and the people that have been there before, like me and some of the upperclassmen like Isaac, James Bell, Miles Phillips. Got to rely on us. And then we kind of can give the younger guys the keys and the tools to success.
So as we kind of near the end here, so a couple of more fun things. Funner, that's not even a word. Don't shake your head. So I talked with Montel about this, so I'm going to talk with you about it too. Well, when I talked to Montel last year, you guys have your handshakes that you do at the beginning of, when you do starting lineup, when Athletic Communications does starting lineups. Do you Montel told me that he kind of crafts it up. He takes some time. Are you spur of the moment? What's your process in that?
Right before the game starts, we're figuring it out.
Right before the game? I want you to be this is months in advance.
Wing it.
But some of them are really good.
Yeah, creative. You got to be creative.
Well, I mean, I guess it works. You guys managed to do it, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Just kind of have guys that are good at stuff with their hands, and then you figure it out from there.
Do you have any? Well, no, because you come up with it right before. I was going to say, do you have? Well, okay, this is your last year. Do you have anything special that you're going to throw out?
Maybe.
Stay tuned.
Maybe. They could have.
Okay, so on the same note, this mic in your hand, that's not the first time you've had a microphone in your hand. So when Marymount basketball helps host Special Olympics here at Marymount, Marcus Stubbs is quite the commentator for that event. And it is so fun. The kids love it. The athletes love it. Everybody there loves it. Tell me a little bit about, what that's like, because you're over there, you're commentating for one of the most special events here at Marymount, and, fans love it. The athletes love it. Marymount people love it. Tell me a little bit about what kind of started that, because I don't necessarily know if that was in your job role. Maybe it was, maybe it's just something you just took on, but tell me a little bit about that, because it's super funny. You make it so fun, when all the athletes are in there. Tell me a little bit about, what kind of brought that on.
Well, thank you. And I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. It just kind of happened. I think I just saw an open mic and somebody said I wouldn't touch it. And then I did.
So you did what somebody told you not to do?
Pretty much.
Hey, and you know what? It made a point. I mean, it made an impact.
I think it's just really fun to bring the energy. I mean, it's easy to be. That's just my way of kind of enjoying the time being there and being involved, because I don't just want to sit on a bleacher and watch and not really be. I feel like I'm participating.
Right.
That's just a fun way to stay engaged.
I think it's funny because your mic is wireless. And if you, anybody that goes to Special Olympics, you were everywhere on those bleachers. You'll be at the top of the bleachers. You'll be back at the table. You're kind of over here. You're kind of everywhere doing it. And I think that makes it fun too, interacting with all the athletes that we have there too. Do you have what's your 3 call? If you were on the mic, what's your 3-point call?
Let's do it. Right there, that's the sound.
Tough. I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, so if I was, would you do the same, or would you use my name if I was shooting at 3?
I would use your whole government.
My whole government name?
Ella DeNicola for 3. Brr. Just like that.
Tough. I like it.
You start playing that.
Y'all watch out. All right, and so kind of my last thing here, I didn't prep you on this. I just want you to know how because there's a little bit about you that's funny. So obviously you're here at Marymount, and tell me what your major is.
IT.
Correct. You're the IT guy, right?
Yeah, I help around.
So a funny memory I have with Marcus Stubbs here is last year I was in a religion class and I needed my computer to be on lockdown browser. And my teacher sent me to the IT department.
Oh boy.
You know who the IT department was? You.
Let's go.
And you know what? You fixed my computer.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, I really needed that.
Of course.
Hey, I got my test, and I think I did pretty good on it. So I'm not going to say that you got me the grade, but
Yeah, it definitely helped maybe just a tiny bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right. So you're going into your 5th year. You got 4 years down. What has been your favorite Marymount being a part of the Marymount men's basketball program?
So it's a 2-parter. The first one was playing Lynchburg here at Marymount for the Pablo Cotto tournament. And we were down by, I think, at least 20 points. Very, very large deficit. And me and some guys on the team kind of looked at each other. And we were like, it's time to just kind of turn it on. And we did. Came back, won the game, had a very good game myself, and a couple other guys had pretty good games. And it just felt good to kind of watch the life leave this team's eyes as they felt the game slipping away after they were up by so much. And
that's kind of nice too, because Pablo's towards the beginning of your season, so that just fuels you for the rest of the season.
Right. Yes, it did. And then that same season was definitely winning the championship after losing the year before, losing 9 guys. I mean, playing with 9 people and only being able to practice with 9, sometimes 8, and running 4-on-4 when you have at least 15 people on the team is not a very good feeling, because you're tired already from playing a bunch the night before, and then you have to come and practice with the same kind of intensity. So that was just a very good feeling to have, knowing that we did that with everything that we had to go through.
All right, Stubbs. Well, you have one more year here at Marymount. What's the one word that you want to describe, how you're feeling going into your last year? The one word, just one word.
Consistent.
Okay, now why?
Showing up every day and being ready, and not just showing up, being prepared to do what I need to do at the highest level that I can do it. That's just doing it every day.
All right, Stubbs. Well, I am so excited. You guys will start on Tuesday. You guys are in Converse Family Fieldhouse starting in November, correct?
November 9th.
Yes, November 9th. Who are you guys playing?
John Hopkins.
All right, everybody pop out. What time?
7.
All right, 7 p.m., Converse Family Fieldhouse. Pack the Fieldhouse, right? That's right. All right, Stubbs. Well, thank you for joining me today. Looking forward to watching you in your final season. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excitement with it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.